Hello, welcome to the Digital Rights Africa podcast, where we talk about everything data protection and privacy, cybersecurity, child online protection, and intellectual property rights issues across Africa. Once again, I am your host, Teki Akuetteh, and today it's a pleasure to have with us Mr. Stephen Wangwe from the Tanzanian Data Protection Commission. Stephen, welcome. Maybe you can tell our audience a bit more about yourself and what you do with the Commission in Tanzania.
Thank you very much, Madam Akuetteh. Basically, I come from an engineering background, but I've been into cybersecurity for like 16 years in my career. So coming from a cybersecurity background, I feel better placed working for the Data Protection Commission, because as you know that protecting data is part of the cybersecurity. So down in 2022, we enacted our Personal Data Protection Act.
Before we come there, Stephen, what do you do at the Data Protection Commission?
Okay, thank you for asking that. Actually, I am the Director for Registration and Compliance.
Okay, so if you need to register and comply, he's the man to look out for.
Yes,
in Tanzania.
That is correct.
Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Yeah, so after we enacted the Act in 2022, it was assented by Her Excellency, our President, in 27th November, same year, but it wasn't yet operational.
Okay.
Until 1st of May 2023.
Okay.
Yes, so that's when it was gazetted and it officially took off.
Just about a year ago.
Yes, just about a year ago. So after it was operational, that's when we started like establishing the commission, which I work for. So the commission is about almost now going to 1.5 years old.
Okay.
Yes. At our very young age, we already have, we developed a system, registration and complaints handling management information system, which basically has 3 main features. First of all, it registers the data controllers and data processors. But number 2, it receives and helps us work on the complaints on personal data violation. But number 3, we have a specific module to process permits to transport data out of the country.
Okay. So that may then mean that your law is one of those that have requirements for authorization prior to transfers. Okay.
Yes.
Then you seem to have done a lot of work in a short time. How have you navigated around issues such as awareness, right? Getting data controllers to even understand, let alone register, and then think about compliance. How have you worked around that?
I like that you asked that question, because even before enactment of the law itself, as you know, you go through a long procedure.
Yeah.
You have to get approval from the Cabinet Secretariat, which helps the Cabinet on issues of laws and policies. After that, you have to go to the permanent secretaries. It's called the Interministerial Technical Committee. After that level, then it goes to the Cabinet Ministry, whereby the President is the one who chairs.
Okay.
So during that process itself, all those decision makers in the line, we had to make awareness, because they're like, why this law? And then we had issues, because as you know, in principle, the Personal Data Protection Act basically it translates the requirement of a constitutional right of the people of Tanzania.
Yes.
So now they'll ask, why is the Ministry of ICT working on this? And there's the Ministry for Constitutional Affairs.
Yeah.
Then we have to explain further that now with the development of technology, more of the problem is in the digital space.
Yes.
But again, this is a requirement from the international conventions and protocols to have the 3 laws in place.
Yeah.
Lucky enough is that we had the Cyber Crimes and the E-Transactions Act already enacted since 2015.
So you definitely did a lot of awareness
Yes.
prior to the passage of the law.
Yes.
How has that helped with post, passage of the law, and how is awareness in that respect going?
That basically was the only way we could have our law in place. Because if those decision makers don't get it, you don't have your law in place. So it has been very helpful, because even when they understand, they trickle it down to their subordinates. And if you talk of ministries, they have institutions under them. And then these institutions, some of them are regulators. They have companies and other organizations which they regulate.
Yeah.
So it just goes down, 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 and then it touches everybody.
So can you share with us how you've approached awareness? Because I know Tanzania is very big.
It is.
It's a very big country. How many languages do you have?
At least not less than 30.
Okay. I know Ghana has also possibly a lot more. And so, yes, here I'm not looking at awareness of especially the formal economy, but the informal. Have you done anything there yet?
Yes, yes.
How have you approached that?
Yeah, the good thing with our country, yes, we have many tribal languages, but at least 98% do understand Swahili.
Okay.
So we've been doing this awareness in Swahili language.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know your law is also, is it?
Yeah, we have this law called law of translation.
Okay.
Whereby the primary law is in Swahili.
Okay,
and
exactly.
then the secondary law is in English.
Okay.
Yeah. So all our laws have
And
Swahili version first, and then
the
English comes
version.
second.
Okay.
Yeah. So like educating the public on what the law entails, what is expected of them is easy. So through community radios, but also we've been engaging these telcos and other civil society organizations, like Jamii Forum has been very helpful in the awareness, because he has a very powerful and reputable platform.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's been also helping us disseminate the knowledge. But really, we've been going around the whole country, basically, region to region. So our country has about 30 regions.
Wow.
Yes, and also that sometimes it's like we have two parts of the country. We have the mainland,
okay,
and we have the isles, where you have Zanzibar.
But yes.
Yes. So on the side of Zanzibar, when it comes to our law, it caters for some of the areas which are called part of the union. But there are some other organizations or specific institutions which are not part of the union.
Yeah.
These are, we are talking of, for example, the identity of the Zanzibarians.
Okay.
We are talking of their business licensing authority.
Okay.
It's different from the mainland.
Okay.
So it means that, yes, this law cuts across, but some areas are not touched upon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now is when we are helping them also to have a similar law, but to cover all those areas which are not covered in the primary law.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very
it's a unique
interesting. Yeah, I
situation.
didn't know that at all.
Yeah.
So what would you say have been some of the biggest challenges that you have faced?
As usual, first of all, it is the data controllers and processors feeling over-regulated. So they just get tired and like, how come these regulations just come on and on? It's because when we register them, it's like they're feeling like they're being licensed. So it gets to their nerves. But again, after educating them, and for us, we do a registration, but it lasts for 5 years, the certificate. So at least that gives them, okay, if we can do it now, then it stays for 5 years, at least.
Okay, so your registration is for 5 years?
Yes, for 5 years.
Okay, but then between the 5 years, because I know that a number of countries actually feel that the moment, well, in some countries, data controllers think the moment I register, I can go to sleep.
That
So what have you been doing to
Yes.
make them aware that the registration is just part of the compliance process? It is not compliance.
Actually, you're right about how they feel when they count. It's 5 years. So when I register, but basically they're supposed to be giving us compliance reports every quarter.
Oh, wow.
So registration is just like so that we know they're doing the collection. It's not about, yes, it's an initial step of compliance, but it's not like after you are registered, then we meet after 5 years. No, it's not like that. After you're registered, that's when you are part of our business. Yeah, we are on to you every quarter, but again, we can do visits anytime. You can go and audit anytime.
You handle compliance. So how are you doing that every quarter? That's a lot of reports. How many data controllers and processors have you registered so far?
So far, we have registered about 850.
Wow. And how many are you expecting?
At least not less than 50,000.
Okay. Wow.
At least.
And so, you know, have you thought about how you're going to manage this number of people? And that brings me to the next question that I have around capacity, internal capacity to address the work that you have.
Yeah, so you're right about the number. When you think of it, it gives us goosebumps, like how are we going to manage? But we get comfortable that we'll be using systems.
Okay.
So the digital space will help us.
Okay.
So we're going to make specific modules now.
Okay.
We are going to truncate the system into specific modules. For example, compliance module.
Okay.
So the system itself will be helping us do the compliance.
Okay.
And then they will be having a way, the controllers and the processors will be having a way of filling in what they're doing through the system.
Notifying.
And then we could be verifying it maybe once a year, and we could be sampling them.
Okay.
Yeah, because we'll be having information from each of them.
Okay.
I think the problem would come when you have, for example, these you know, like religious organs or these very informal sectors.
Yeah.
They don't use systems.
Yeah.
So you have to go physically, and there we'll find a way of how to manage. But those who have systems, it's a bit easier.
Yeah, but then again, speaking about that, you have a very large informal sector, like most African countries, right? How are you dealing with them?
Actually, you know, for now, we just do awareness for them, but we haven't really gone down to say, you know, we are regulating you. But at least we tell the people, the data subjects, that you have your rights. You're not supposed to give information which is not related to the service that you are going to be given. And also, we also educate these like people from the hotels and the accommodation people that don't take information which you won't need to serve the person, because sometimes you guys are doing segregation, or there's some biasness. For example, one would ask, what is your religion? But if I want to get the service for just being accommodated, why do you want to know my religion? You see?
They want to become your vicar.
You see, exactly. So it's a challenge.
Yeah.
But that's what has been all along. Before existence of the law.
Most of the DPAs across Africa I've seen have worked on one strategy or the other. Have you had the time to do that, or you're working on a strategy currently?
Yes.
And what does it, if you've done it, what does it look like?
Okay. You know, usually, because for us it's a full-fledged institution, and it's a requirement that you have a minimum of 3 years strategic plan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because of that requirement, we do have one. But going down the execution and the implementation, we are learning that a lot of objectives and exact actions we put in the strategy are not very practical at the first or at the initial stages. Yeah, so I think when we come to revise, at least we'll have a more realistic one.
That is very good to know. I think we're coming closer to the end of our conversations. One of the things I would love to tickle out right now, what is happening? Any exciting news that's coming up that we should be getting all up and running to Tanzania about when it comes to data protection?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so share it with us. We love to hear good news and exciting things. So.
Okay, so the immediate issues that are very burning right now, first of all, when we were inaugurated in April this year by Excellency, our President, she put a deadline.
Wow.
By 31st December 2024, make sure you register all so-called data controllers and data processors.
Wow, wow.
So we have a very, very busy month.
Wow.
So I'm not having Christmas this year. Maybe Boxing Day, because we'll have to take a report to the president. But also because of that deadline, we are having a sensitization workshop.
Okay.
So we are calling all the DPOs on the 17th and 18th of December.
Okay.
Just telling them what is expected of them, what
you just have 800 and you need
so
to
far
reach about 50,000.
Yes.
I don't envy you.
You shouldn't.
Yeah. All right. So all too soon, I believe we've come to the end of our program. Thank you so much, Stephen, for sharing insights about what is happening in Tanzania with us.
It's a pleasure.
And we look forward to having you here again, maybe next year, hopefully.
I'm part of the family.
Exactly. So that hopefully next year, and you tell us what progress have been made and all of that. So thank you. All too soon, once again, we've come to the end of another episode, and we thank you for joining us. Once again, if you have not subscribed to our channel, just click that subscribe button, and we will make sure that you get alerts on any new episodes that are uploaded. So have a wonderful day, and thank you. Bye.